Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Algorithm Minds. My name is Asal Khurram and in this channel I teach programming skills in MATLAB, Python and R programming. I also teach theoretical concepts as well as practical programming skills in data science and data analysis. So I request you to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell icon button. I have been producing series of tutorial videos regarding R programming language. These tutorials are specifically designed for those people who are just starting out learning our language. So it's a highly resourceful and beginners friendly tutorial videos. So in today's video I'm going to discuss about data frame in our programming language, how we can actually create a data frame in R and how we can manipulate that data with the help of our code. So a brief introduction of data frames in our programming is such that data frames are one of the fundamental data structures in our language. They are essentially a two-dimensional tabular data structure that allows you to store, manipulate data in rows and columns. Data frames are incredibly versatile and are widely used for data manipulation, analysis, and visualization tasks in R. So first of all, I'm going to teach you how you can actually create your own data frame in R. So and these are created by using data.frame function in R. The function takes vectors as input and combine them into data frame. Each character corresponds to a column in the data frame. Okay, so that's how it is. So in order to create a data frame in R, the first condition you need to have, you need to make vectors, so which you can put as an input argument to the data frame function, that which will ultimately convert those vectors into our data frame. So here I have created three vectors. The first vector is name, which contains the name of the people, and the second vector is age, which contains the ages of people. Here we are using C function that combines the element to form a vector. Okay, so we have created the vector of name, ages, and finally we create another vector called grades. It will that contains the grade of these people. Now once we have those vectors, what we are going to use, we are going to initialize a variable named student underscore data, and we are going to assign it a value by using by calling this function data.frame. Then we will use this notation here where we put name is equal to names, where name is the vector that contains the name, age is equal to ages, which is the vector, and grade is equal to grades, that is also a vector. Now one important point to keep that in mind is that here whatever you write here, name, age and grade, will rename the columns of the data frame. Okay, so in that case I have name the column named as name, age and grade, and once I use this function I will be able to create a data frame. Finally, let's view that data frame by running this block of code here. Now you can see that we have three columns, name, age and grade. Now in order to further elaborate the concept what I am trying to say to how you can rename the columns, I will change this age into something like age underscore b. Now when I'm going to run it, now you see that the column names are being changed and updated as we change this name. So this is how you define a data frame in R. So I will change it back to age because B doesn't make any sense to be present here. So we have this data frame. So just a brief review. We first create the vectors, then we call the function data frame data.frame and then pass the input arguments, those vectors along with their column name with the help of equal to sign. That's how you created a data frame. Now once we have created a data frame, you might be interested in how you can actually access a specific value from a data frame, and it is quite easy to do. You can access individual elements, rows or column of a data frame using indexing. You can use numeric indices, column names or logic vectors to subset the data frame. So the point I'm trying to emphasize here, in order to access a data frame, you can use indices like the position, the row, ith row and jth column position. You can also mention the column names that you are specifically trying to extract a value from that specific column, or you can also have a logical vector, okay, that defines either the rows or column. So in our case, let's try to access our data by indices. So here it is the general format. You will write the data frame name, then you put square brackets, and within the square bracket you will define the ith row and jth column. In our case, we are defining ith row, that is second row, and we are defining the jth column, that is third column, which is the grade. Now in that case, the data will be a B. So let me just run this block of code for you. Now you can see that we have accessed the value from that data frame. Now there are some R actually allows some basic operations of data frame. Data frame supports various operations such as subsetting, filtering, sorting, merging, and appending data. These operations allow you to manipulate and transform data frames according to your analysis requirement. So how we are going to do that, I'm going to teach you right now. So let's start with subsetting the data. By subsetting means we are only interested in extracting some specific values out of that data frame. So how we can actually do that? Here analogy will remain the same, that we will write the data frame name as we have written here, then we put square brackets, okay? And after this square bracket we have to define two input argument, the rows and the columns, okay? In that case we are currently dealing with rows. So we have now, and we have comma, then columns. If we don't write anything in column section, it means that we are opting to take all columns, whatever the columns that are present in that data frame, we want to select all those columns. Now coming back to the rows, okay, we are talking about subsetting the data. So basically it means that we are only we are only interested in extracting a specific values out of that data frame. And in order to do that, we will create a specific condition or a specific check that will check whether this value met that criteria. If that criteria is met, it will pick that row. If that criteria is not met, it will not pick that row. Okay, so that's what we have done here. So we first of all we have calling data frame, then we are calling its column grade, and we are applying a condition or checking the condition whether the element in that column or specific rows where the grade is A. If the grade is A, it will return a logical vector with true and false. So basically it means that it will return an index where we have grade is equal to A in the form of true and false. And that's how you create a specific mass. That mass is a specific term that we use in Python programming, but that has a similar concept as we are discussing here. So basically you have created a mass where the rows, only those rows will be taken where we have grade is equal to A. So that's how we create the index of row. And if there's nothing present in the column index, it means that we are taking all the columns. So after I run it, now you can see that we have taken a subset of data where only those rows was picked where grade is equal to A. Now in the similar way, we can apply the concept of filtering. We will initialize a variable named filter data to store the new data frame. Now we will call our previous data frame student data, and then we are going to use its indexing. Then we will find rows index and column index. As remember that there is no anything written in the column index, means we are taking all the column. Now coming back to the rows index, now you can see that we have student data, which is the original data frame, and then we are assessing its age column, and then we are applying a condition that we want to check whether pick only those rows where we have age greater than 20. So basically we are creating a filter. This filter again returns a true and false vector. Based on the true and false vector, it will only select that rows where the age is greater than 20. So let me just run this block of code for you. Now you can see that it's written here. Okay, so that's how it is. And let's move on and talk about sorting data frames. Okay, obviously in our data frame we have age, which is a numeric data type. We can actually sort our data frame according to age. and we can sort it on ascending order and descending order, and it is quite easy to do. So we will create another variable named sorted data to create the modified data frame, and then we will use the same analogy. We will call our data frame name student dot underscore data, then we use the indexing notation with square brackets, and then we define rows and columns. If there is nothing present in the column section, it means we are taking all the columns. Now we are here applying the sorting indexing in such that order student data $age, the order function generates a sequence of indices that stores the value in age column in ascending order. For example, if the ages are 20, 30, 23, 21, the order function will return the indices that will show these values at 2, 4, 1, 3 corresponding to the ages of 20, 21, 22, 23. So basically it sorts the age, it sorts based on the age column, and it returns the indices of that age column based on the higher to lower, so lower to higher. So that's how sorting actually works in our data frame. Now let me just run this code for you. Now you can see that our data has been sorted according to age. Now let's move on and actually see how we can actually append another row in our data frame. Currently we have data frame which has only 4 rows or 4 entities in it. Now if you want to add another entity, it is quite easy to do. For this purpose, you are going to create a new data frame. So we have created a new we have declared a variable student underscore new underscore students, and we have initialized its value by calling the data frame function and making a new data frame that has a value 1 row with value name Emma, age 24 and grade B. Now in order to append that value or append that row to an existing data frame, what are you going to do? We are going to use rbind method or rbind function that adds the new student information as the new row at the bottom of student data frame. We're simply going to write rbind and then within those round brackets passing to input argument the previous data frame and the new data frame that contains only first 1 row. Let me just run this block of code for you. Now you can see that the values has been updated and Emma has been added to it. Now we can do some aggregate functions as well on the data. For example, we can calculate the mean of age. That is quite easy to do. We will initialize a variable named average underscore age. Then we are going to cache its value by writing mean function and the passing the input argument, which is the actually the column values of our data frame, which is assessed by using this dollar notation with the column name age. So that's how you can calculate the average age. Now what if I told you like I want to access a specific column out of a data frame? It is quite easy to do. You just have to declare a name age underscore column, then initiates and equates its value by writing data frame name student underscore data, then using dollar notation and afterwards writing the column name that will give you access to the specific column. So that's how you can access a specific column in R. Now moving onwards, let's discuss about how we can actually extract column names, which is quite easy to do. You just have to write the function call names, and within the call name you have to pass the input argument the data frame we have created student underscore data. In this way you will extract the column names of that specific data frame. Now let's move on see how we can update the value of a single entity in a data frame. Let's say you want to update the grade of Alice to A plus. Okay, and Alice might have a grade B. Now you want to update it to A. And how you are going to do? We are going to do this by the same analogy by using the help of indexing. Now you have to first extract the index of Alice grade so you can then update its value. And how we are going to do? It's quite simple to do. We are going to use which function which will look for the index where the student name is equal to Alice. So basically here the student name this is our data frame, then we are assessing its column name and we are checking a condition where the name is Alice. It will return true and false, and based on that true and false vector, which will actually convert it into a index form. Once we done that, and once we get the index of Alice, what we are simply going to do, we are going to call data frame, then we will assess its grade, and then within that grade we will give the index Alice index, and we will update its value by using this statement here. In this way you can update its value. Now when I run this, now you can see that Alice grade has been updated. Now let's move on and talk about other functions as well. Now suppose you want to add another column to the existing data frame. It is quite easy to do. For this purpose, what you are going to do, you are going to create a new data frame. And remember that in order to create a new data frame, you first have to define vectors. So here I have created a vector locations, which contains the locations of all members. Okay. And after we created a vector, we will call this function data.frame and pass it as an input argument with the column name is equal to the vector. That's where we have created our data frame that has a one column with the name location. Now in order to append that column to the existing data frame, we are simply going to use this function cbind. So just by using cbind and passing two input arguments, the first input argument will be our actual data frame, and the second input argument will be the data frame we had just recently created with a single column. Now when we run this, now you can see that we have actually updated the data frame with the new column. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope this tutorial have been helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to write down your comments. I will be happy to help you out. And I will be posting more videos regarding data analysis in R, and I will go through a thorough data analysis case study that will also include SQL, data visualizations, machine learning. So I suggest you to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell icon button so you can get the notification as soon as I publish the video. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you soon in the next